Hmm. Oh, right. What am I doing? Elsa, do you mind? Okay. Uh-oh. It's gonna hurt. First apocalypse fight in later days always stinks. Hey, Bean, how's it going, man? Hey, Pocky. Welcome. There we go. Considering the fact I'm doing arena, I'm really very ill. Are you actually not feeling good, or are you just doing arena to pick up units? Unit for units. Fair enough. A lot of units in there for not a whole lot of effort, honestly. I feel like that heavy counter was just far enough away that I wouldn't have gotten credit for the cancel, and so I didn't want to risk it. Knew that was going to be close. It's okay. He always heals in section 2. Let's see if we get to. Swear it even went into slow motion for her evade. That's gonna sting. Whoa! Thought I reacted in time. Well, that one stung. Alright, we'll heal from that later. Time to do what I said I'd do. I appreciate you being light crowd tonight. I heard they were super fun with Atuma. I really wish I had him. What does this do again? Hmm. So if we use a heavy attack specifically, we can get the weakness. I'll leave readout. This is enough. Excuse me. I think I'll go Toad. This is a little bit just because he has so many hits in his special 1, and we're having trouble pushing him to his special 2. I've barely been paying attention, though. We're doing plenty of damage, so I guess there's that. Hey, Cyber. Congrats on Chavez. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw both of those. Huge congrats. Welcome, Illusion. Let's try that again with a little bit less power gain. Although I think that really illustrates why I'm not worried about his buff. Because he, quote, wasn't controlling the power gain, but it took effort to push Hyperion to his special 2. That is not normal, and I feel like people are just not being fair. Yeah, that's fair, Beam. I'm leaving him at 40 for now, which is I think where he is. Is Sauron good offensively? Not really. He has some niche uses, but he's an excellent candidate for a value tune-up. Like, the design is cool. I really like how it's all passives. Everything makes sense in the class wheel. There are clear threats. Everything is interactable. There's a clear thing to do on offense. I think it's a good kit that's just undertuned. Yeah, I did have a good Wednesday. Was doing some side work, but it was important. Yeah, the stamina changes are nice. I don't really do arena, but it's gonna make incursions that much easier too. Light intercept? I mean, the biggest thing illusion is just don't focus on it. If you tap light and nothing happens, then yeah, your timing is off. But I really do think the biggest thing is just don't focus on it. Like that's not step 1 to absorbing man. It's not even step 4 or 5 to absorbing man. That is the last thing that you need to master, and that's like for doing some of the boss solos that I'm doing. It's not even something that you need at all for most of the assignments I send him for. That's my first thing. Beyond that, I don't know. You can just practice in duels, like literally go to full screen and just try and intercept them with the light as they come in. That's the like old light intercept. That's a good skill to practice, but it's also not necessary. The big thing is just backdrafting. Um, and the key to that, in my opinion, is don't go for it repeatedly. Like make sure that you're not going against like Realm of Legends or something, because that AI is much more passive. That is a terrible, terrible place to practice backdrafting. But like do your duels or go into EQ or something, and don't make it the focus of the fight. Just try and make it so that like once every fight, you do like 4 hits into them, dash back, and immediately tap light and try and catch them. Just fold that into how you play, and that would be easier. Would I give a Mystic Gem to Chavez? I would. Man, it's a real pity that this Spidey buff sucks so bad. No damage, no utility. Needs high sig, needs specific synergies. It's just, God, what a missed opportunity. He can just barely beat Jessica Jones, one of the easiest defenders in the game. Yeah, I if you haven't watched it yet, Illusion, watch the live stream I did with Vega, where I was teaching him how to play Absorbing Man, because like that's how I built him. It's light interrupts, it's not light intercepts, and everyone keeps translating that as though I accidentally used the wrong word, and I didn't. Like I meant interrupt. And so I don't want you to just go for intercepts. You can sidestep, you can punish heavies. There's so many things that you can do. You do not have to intercept. And so I think when people say this is what you need to play Carl properly, they're just setting themselves up for failure. Yeah, sidestepping is a really powerful skill to have for literally everyone. Well, not literally everyone. There are a few characters whose lights don't work very well for it, but like 90% or more of the characters in the game. Oh, forgot about the power sting. It's unfortunate. Beautiful. Oh, I love Toad. Yeah, Domino's a really good one to start with. I think Spidey needs more banter while fighting. This isn't really that kind of game, Freddy. Like, you can set up Easter eggs, but there are only so many of them. And if they show up more than a certain, like with more than a certain frequency, you're probably just going to get tired of them. I don't think I really agree. Oh, gross. Why is Icarus here? Rude placement. Yeah, Nihilus definitely has counters these days. He's a great place to practice Carl in general, though. Because push comes to shove, you could just block and bait heavies better than anyone else. Whoops. I tried to hit my special button as he was doing his. Hey, Devil Dog. Woo! Hey, PPG, how's it going, man? Hey, Lord Gara. It's Illusion. Mostly focused on champions. It's a lot of work. Especially because I do think that doing this channel makes me better at it. And between work and the channel, I don't have a ton of time else. Yeah, Agara's got some great stuff with this tactic. Off guard there. So we didn't go for the other stack of webbing this time, so we didn't have nearly as many taunts. But that was still really quick. Yeah, season's going well. I think we're only 3-3. So, like, not the best as far as results, but we've had an incredibly tough schedule. I think we've averaged, what, like 4 deaths? Or, no, less than 4. Yeah, less than 4 a war, which, like, everyone's playing tighter, so that's why we've lost a few of them, but yeah, it's going good. Hard counters over generalists? No, I don't. I mean, it depends on what he means. Because I don't even think that Mike really believes that. Like, there are more mechanics these days. It means that there are more things that you need actual counters for. But I don't think that you need hard counters. Because the reason that Carl is as good as he is not because he hard counters 4 cosmics. Like, that's fun. That's a cool thing that he does. But he also soft counters a bunch of other stuff that makes him very flexible, and that's why he has so much value. Like, I like Reed so much because he's a soft counter to a lot of different things. Karate Mike likes Zemo in part because he's a soft counter to a lot of different things. He's very, very good, but a lot of the fights I've seen Mike use Zemo for, Zemo's not a hard counter for. I feel like the same is true for Spider-Man 2099 for a lot of the stuff he does. Again, I don't think that Mike's own gameplay and war assignments reflect that statement. And I don't think I agree with it. I mean, if what you mean by like, oh, generalists aren't very good is like somebody who just, I don't know, blocks good and hits good isn't great, then sure. But that just means that like you need utility. I don't know. Well, nobody like that's kind of a straw man PPG. Like nobody's really expecting one champion to counter everything other than Hercules because he's stupid. And so like of course that's not possible. Nobody expects that from characters, I don't think. I think the question is just like if somebody can take pretty much like can take a wide variety of fights versus really being focused on a few. Like Toad is definitely more of a specialist than a generalist, but he's still not even really a hard counter for what he's good at. I don't know. I'm sure that a good chunk of the disagreement is probably coming from Mike and I meaning similar things while using different terms, so I don't want to overstate it. But I think, as a general rule, that generalists are underrated these days. I think it kind of depends on where you are, PPG. Because, like, yeah, you want to plug utility holes. That's one of the most important things. A lot of people run into content and they're like, wow, this content is BS. It asks for this really hyper specific thing. And it's like, well, there are like 8 characters that do that. Have you bothered investing in any of them? And they're like, well, no, because they're trash. And you're like, well, there's your answer. They're not actually trash. They do what you need. You've just spent too much time listening to a tier list. I'm feeling a little bit spicy tonight. I apologize. But as Dan points out, like there are flip sides of that where sometimes the generalists are exactly what you need. Like Stark Spidey is not a hard counter to anyone. He's incredible for Battlegrounds because he has a couple different pieces of utility that make him a soft counter to a number of fights, and he does a ton of damage. Silver Surfer is a really good champion in Battlegrounds because he has enough damage in a very flexible form that gets around a lot of mitigations, and he has, again, just enough utility. Hey, senor, how's it going? Like, that's why I don't agree with the hard counter thing, because I think some of the best champions for a lot of different game modes are the ones that just have a number of soft counters. Again, that's intentionally how I built Carl. I have a feeling this is going to be really annoying. Definitely don't use Quicksilver. Did have hot chicken for lunch today. It's very good. Hey, Capitan. That strategy is doing what Usopp does, rank 4 everyone, and then you can counter everything. This is true, as long as you know enough about those characters to understand what they counter. Like, there are a whole bunch of people out there with rank 4 surfers that never put them in their Battlegrounds decks because they think that he's just for prestige, and they are wrong. Yeah. Reed is way, 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 way up there. I mean, he's starting to get a little bit more respect, but relative to how good he is, he's still super underrated. These days, Void is somehow underrated. Spider-Man is already underrated, especially when it comes to utility. I think Quicksilver has somehow flipped back around to being underrated for his utility. People are like, well, I'll use Quicksilver when I want to explode things in a big bunch of Whiplash. Or if I need to, like, dex a bunch for Wither, and they, like, don't, I don't know, they kind of miss the rest, like the parrying projectiles and the slow and the miss counter and all the other goodies. Science in general tends to get underrated for utility. I think tech is probably the other big one. Like Sam being the obvious one that everyone underrates. I could probably go on for this for a while, but those are some big ones. Void is very, very good. so close. Alright, well, we can still do this. One second. Hyperion? I can definitely see that argument. I do think people forget that he has abilities other than parry heavy special 2. Yeah, it's weird how we've already shifted around to that, Dan. It's like, oh man, they don't kill quickly in Battlegrounds? What a trash champ, not worth ranking. Oh crap, to disorient. Okay. Whoops. Should have done the second medium. Yeah, Hype's armor break is 100% chance. It's just his stun that is not. I was considering mentioning Diablo Illusion. I feel like people sleep on the utility pre-fights pretty hard. Yeah, and I see that's exactly what you said. Any chance there's an update to war potions and potency and accessibility? For one thing, I don't agree with you that people can't do war without spending units. There are a whole lot of people out there um, who do war purely on the one loyalty revives. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this because on the one hand, like I do think sorry, hold on, I need to grab some chapstick. I do think that potions need a buff. I think that war and AQ potions are on the docket just as much as quest potions for updating. But I think that similar to when compensation ended, everyone was asking for quite a bit. I think that potions are not going to get to a place where everyone is happy. Because the point of war, like, war is not supposed to be designed such that you can take a bunch of fights where you take a lot of damage, heal back up for all of them, and then just keep going without any costs. Like there's a certain amount of damage that the system is designed to let you take. But I think a lot of people just disagree on where that should be. And I think there's a good chunk of tier 1 and 2 that thinks what should be subsidized or like what the I mean it is subsidized, but they think that what the line where the line should be is if I can't take like 6 fights with Hercules and basically die in 2 of them and heal to full, then I don't have enough loyalty. And I don't think that that is ever going to be how we balance it. And that just needs to be something that the community comes to grips with. It doesn't mean nobody can take 10 fights, but if you're taking 10 fights every war, yeah, you probably are going to need to either dip into units or you're going to need to play super clean. And that's by design because 10 fights is not a normal number of fights. And similarly, you shouldn't be healing from like half back to full on basically every fight. Um, like I've seen people do things like that where it's like, oh well, Kingpin can take Void just fine on Hazard Shift. He gets through it fast enough. I mean, yeah, he loses half his health, but that's what potions are for, right? And then they're like, man, potions really are expensive. Or you could just use somebody who counters Void. Obviously, planning is difficult, but that's why the deaths are lowest at the top as well. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of factors in it. And I think that potions need to be updated, but I feel like I need to go over all those factors as well because I don't think potions are going to be updated to the point where people feel like loyalty isn't an important resource. Hopefully that makes more sense. And no, no, Pablo, because I'm not in Vancouver. That's the number one reason. Jerk. Double jerk. Throw it. Hey, Wildcat. I actually don't know what the artifact limit is. Yeah, I know Titania is fun on these. I've done that one before. Wasn't that in the tweet illusion? I think we mentioned the unique ability by name. Hey, Pooba. Yeah, I've said before, the list of potential buffs is long. I'm working on them. I could see Gwen getting a bit, but she's really not bad. I'm not entirely sure what you give her. Excuse me. Thank you, Senor. Just the name, stat focus? Yeah. Has Iceman's buff gone live? No, people are too busy complaining about Spider-Man being an insult and a failure. Iceman will be next month. I'm pretty sure it's still 2% per hit, Pooba. I don't think that's true anymore, Odysseus. It was at one point. I don't think it's true anymore. Like, yes, you've identified the core of the skill class, but that's like saying that mutants are all prowess and regen and specials, and cosmics are all like buffs and armor breaks, and mystics are all power gain and healing, like, and buff control. I think there's more variety than that. Is there ever time to use Airwalker? Incursions. Airwalker has a very, very high ceiling, and if you're doing something with enough fights where it's worth dealing with a couple early easy ones, he's nuts. But I agree with you, Odysseus, that I do think Gwen would need some kind of new utility, and I'm not sure what it would be. Whoa! Airwalker doesn't really need a tune-up. Like I think I would. The only thing I really feel strongly that I would change on Airwalker is I would make his power gain on his heavy charge less dependent on his ramp. Because if you have that, then even unramped, he's not bad. Because I don't think you need to make the ramp shorter. The penny synergy already exists. It's just that the first fight is so miserable. I love the savagery on the spider buff. Yeah, man. I'm just so disappointed in the community. Whoops, that hurt. Double hurt. Alright. Got so annoyed about Spidey, I forgot how to play Quicksilver. 1 second. But yeah, I'm disappointed in people. Gallon Synergy is extremely good for Airwalker. I'm pretty sure that's still how it works, Booba. We haven't messed with Gwen Sig as far as I know. Have you used a ramped Airwalker noob? Whoa, okay. It's bound to happen, but that's the first time I've messed up his chaining in a bit. One loyalty revives the best thing to happen to war. Real man take down Void with Kingpin and Iceman's buff stuff. I do think the one loyalty revives are fantastic. I really do. I just don't think that people get to look at the one loyalty revives, realize they can play war for free, and then also expect to win wars for free. Like, play better, plan better, or use items. Those are your three choices. And most people are going to need some combination of them. This is going to be wild. Okay, so that doesn't trigger. I was hoping that would give me 8 Furies. I'll just have to let some fall off normally. Cool. Jerk. Ah, really thought I got out of that. Um, yeah, I get what you mean, Odysseus. The thing is that Gwen's armor break is also very strong, and Enervate is scary territory to play in. So that's like it's like that's why I'm kind of I'm not convinced on what I would do yet, because I think that Gwen is very good. But yeah, it's difficult to figure out what exactly I would add to her that wouldn't be scary because of how strong those abilities are. Um, yeah, exactly, illusion. I've had a number of conversations with people who insist that Airwalker is absolute garbage, and then you ask them how they're playing him, and they don't activate the Fury the entire fight. Like, I agree, noob. Spidey's fantastic. Yeah, free to play loser has some great Airwalker stuff. Yeah, but Ronin is just cheesy. Like, Ronin is only underrated because whoever built him in the first place didn't have the foresight to put a cap on his effects. It's not really the same thing. Sinister, that does sound wild. Yeah, Ronin is definitely underrated. Big agree there. Yeah, I understand, Hanach. Like I said, I do think that they need to get better. I'm just managing expectations. I really hate this synergy for Spidey that causes him to evade. Whoa, that hurt. Well, that's what happens when you misjudge a stun. Used Valk against Gore once, never again. Yeah, that's a dangerous one. Yeah, I've said before, I don't think I'm supposed to say exactly how old the class wheel is. Don't think I'm shocking anyone when I say it's Ronan is older than it. He just makes like no sense. It's 100% a mystic ability, but it's also like not balanced. It's from a time when the game just looked different. Like look at America Chavez and think that even pre-buff, her effect had a cap of 9. His has a cap of 99. It's didn't realize that it was going to throw my second medium and not my first. Love when that happens. Yeah, exactly, noob. Ronan is one of those that it would absolutely make sense to rebuild from the floor or from the ground up. But the people who use him for the 2 fights he cheeses every year would probably be angry. Yeah, I agree, Capitan. Was the Wolverine Striker fixed? I thought that that was one for May. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I did have it happen with Gambit. And yeah, it lines up similarly to 5 stars and 6 stars Magnus, where the first rank of the next rarity is the fourth rank of the previous one. That is correct. I just used read for this, right? Yeah, I'm gonna do that again. I'm not commenting on the 7 star release pool. I haven't used Black Cat in a while. Yeah, the Mysterio is tricky. I've had it with Toad and Wolverine. Damn, it's a function of which combos you throw it out of. The Massacre. More interested in the 7 star combat power rate change than basic bullet launch. You say that like we're trying to hoodwink people. No, it's I've discussed this on the channel before. This is something that like Kabam has cleared the CCP to talk about because obviously it's measurable, right? Um, the idea here is just that if we were to redesign the game from the ground up, we wouldn't have combat power rate change by rank for anyone. I don't think. We have basically decided not a great mechanic. Um, Makes it very very difficult to tune rotations. You end up with weird stuff where like people were using their rank 5 Doctor Dooms over their 6 star rank threes, despite them being better. Their rank 5 5 star Dooms over their 6 star rank threes because of the extra combat power rate being so important for power control rotations. Like it just we did not want to repeat that. It was absolutely unfun for everyone, including designers, because we have to go like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this feels pretty good. The damage feels pretty good. Oh, wait, okay, I've been accidentally testing a 6 star rank 3. Let me switch over to a 5 star to make sure that extra combat power doesn't break this tuning wide open. It's not cool. So that's why we changed it going forward. And obviously, it does make 7 stars stronger, but we basically had to decide it's like we couldn't make them weaker than 6 stars. And so what we arrived at was just okay, it's going to be this from the beginning all the way through. Jerk. I wonder if we can go through this whole lane without me knowing what comes off that timer. Because I could read the node, but now I really don't want to. Interesting, noob. That's... Let me take a look at that. Because that might be something that we could potentially fix before we ship. It's kind of late at this point. Well, you're not going to get linear, Kevin. That's not exactly where we're going. But I get what you mean. Whoops. But we're trying to repeat or avoid repeating a lot of the mistakes. That we made with 6 stars. I honestly think we're on to do so. Whoops. I mean, that's because he cheats at an illusion. But yes, I've said it before. I would like to see Herc nerfed into a version where he is fun to play but not overpowered. I think you could leave a lot of the bones. Well, that's because OGBP actually has to intercept, and Herc just has to do something in the vague neighborhood of an intercept. Oh, okay, that's what it does. Well, we didn't make it the whole path, but that's alright. God, his block proficiency is annoying. Hey, JT, how's it going, man? I don't want Kabam to release 7-star Hurricane Kitty. I would rather us nerf them and release them. Why waste the design work? Why waste characters that people like playing? Just make them not stupid. I mean, it's working as intended by Herc's designer, but that doesn't mean it's a good call. Whoops. Take care, Cyber. Wonder what Herc looked like pre-release. Yeah, from what I hear, he definitely was more broken. Getting some EQ done, need to plow through. It happens, JT, but you know, you're working on it, and I'm glad things are going well for you, man. Okay, back off. What I want to do is cleanse this. There we go. 1 of 8. Whoops. Hey, Dot, how's it going? But nerfing Hurricane Kitty, tsunami warning? Yeah, I know. I'm just really tired of being held hostage by the community. Like, so many people agree that something is definitely the right call. It's obviously the right call by all rules of game design. And we're supposed to just not do it because I don't know how to make the sound re when people type it with just R and all the E's, but like, you know what I mean. But that's the thing, Hanach. War is free. It sounds like what you're asking for is for it to be free to win. Like, because you say, I'm wondering if I can do war, but that's not really what you're wondering. What you're wondering is if you can do war at the level you want. Right? Because like, I am sympathetic. And again, I do think potions do need to be improved. But the question is not, can you play war? War is free. I'm assuming that you are good enough to not die 15 times with each of your 3 champions by the time you get to the end of your path. Because otherwise, if you were that bad, you wouldn't care about war. So I'm going to assume that war is free for you because that's what one loyalty revives let you do. What you want to do is get through your paths without dying more than once in a while, right? And because that's what you want to heal up to full on the regular. And that healing up to full is something that does need to require it. I'm not going to say cost. It's not always going to be cost. Oh, revives don't count to your item limits. Oh, so literally limitless. I forgot about that. Okay, so but the point is that healing up to full doesn't necessarily need to be a cost, but it is always going to need to be a significant resource management ask. I just don't see a way around that. Whoops. Ouch. Sir. Please don't miss. Okay, thank you. Kind of worked. Take that one, and we back off. Oh, right, counter strike. That's gonna stick. That is a long falter. Excuse me. Oops. This is an incredibly passive Mystere. Okay. Come on, give me my thing. Ah. Hey, Ryan. It's weird when people say that whatever Kabam releases absolutely has to remain the same. Yeah, no, exactly. It's people are constantly saying that we make too many mistakes while also insisting that we be locked into the mistakes we make. If someone somewhere finds it even a little bit fun in its broken state. And then they just say, well, now this is in the game, so no take backsies. And because no take backsies, well, then you just have to be better at your jobs and design around it. How hard is it to design around it? How hard is it to never be able to fix any of the mistakes that would make the game easier to build and just design around all of them and constantly come up with more and more complex solutions and then never make any mistakes because if you make any of them, we'll yell at you. Man, I really am in a spicy mood today. Yeah. Obviously, I think that we should be allowed to nerf things the same way that we should be allowed to buff things. Because when you make a mistake, you should be able to admit it and then change it. Hey, bugger. Um, the giveaway on Friday. Okay, yeah, let me know. Yeah, I'm so glad we don't have ads, Wildcat. It'd be awful. Hey, Dane. Thanks for getting your penny back. Yeah, man. It was a little bit of sympathy play, but also she's just not important on defense right now. And I had missed assigning her. Old school Eminem. That's one I haven't heard yet. How are they giving it away? Would we post our IGN? I think that's kind of the idea, yeah. Um, I think they're going through some kind of verification process, but I don't know all the details, to be blunt. Classic Mordo. Sir. Whoa, what just happened? Why did I gain all that power? What is going on? What the frick just happened? Oh, spiritualism. Okay. Hmm. All right. Well, I guess I needed to read that note. Node. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, that's not the side that I'm on. No, I don't agree with that at all, Hanach. When like people love to say that, they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, spending should be on offers and not on content." But there should always be a balance between both. Because the point of all the units and loyalty and everything else in the game is not for you to just accumulate them without any cost or tension and then spend all of them on giant offers twice a year. The point is for them to be the hard currency. You use them on whatever makes sense to progress your account. You use them on masteries. Sometimes you use them on items. You use them on offers if you can save up for those offers. But if you're having trouble clearing content without spending units, then that means there's something that you're doing. Either your roster isn't developed enough, you're not planning as efficiently, you're not like playing as efficiently, and so you dip into units. Because that's the thing, is that when people say that the spending should be on offers, then what they're really saying is I don't want to spend any units on anything but offers. And therefore, if I grind out units, I shouldn't even have to spend on offers because I've been able to sit on my units. Like, it's kind of a bait and switch from the community when they say that. Because if war and content never costs units because we're trying not to monetize war and content, then people aren't going to spend on offers either. And then what you're really saying is, well, of course I understand you have to monetize the game. I just want everything without feeling any tension. And that's not how these kind of games work. And I see people leaving the chat. And it is what it is. Didn't let me dex out of that either. Very annoying. Whoa! Wicked's got jokes. And we lose. Yeah, it's fine. We were about to die to this. Having this conversation on YouTube chat. Yeah, I understand that. And I understand that I'm also, like, effectively kind of holding you responsible for some things that other people have said, and so I apologize for that. Any update on 8.2? That's what the live stream's for, Bugger. Offers department has gotten really good at milking people. Yeah, but you know what I mean, Dot. Yeah, I'm aware of that allegation, Wildcat. Not really much to say there. I didn't see any proof in said allegation, but we will continue to catch and punish cheaters as we can. What a weird node. Specifically 45% of max power. Yeah, I do think that current story content, like Act 7 and after, Capitan, um, is basically designed for if you are the target audience, you shouldn't use items pretty much at all outside of maybe the final bosses. Like, I'm not going to throw shade at anybody for taking a second to figure out Superior Kang or something along those lines, right? But outside of those bosses, I think if you are in the target audience, you probably should be doing it nearly itemless. And if you're not, that doesn't mean the content isn't fair or that revive farming should be easier. It means that you are punching up in some way or another. And that is supposed to have some kind of cost. Any reason I don't outdistance Wiccan Special 1? Probably because I haven't practiced it enough, Illusion. I appreciate that shout out. I'll keep that in mind. Will I be streaming 8.2 when it's out? I will. There's part of me that's not really looking forward to it. I'm not gonna lie, because I did the beta for it, and then I have play tested it so many times. Since the beta internally, helping to update the paths. This freaking guy. Whoa, okay. Falcon's trying to be rude. But yes, I'll be streaming it. Because that's prime streaming content, honestly. Hey, Hasa. What languages do we use for programming? So, that's more of a question for the engineers. I've mentioned before that I use basically a proprietary programming language um, that is put together for us by our software engineers. So I don't really know. I don't code exactly the same way that you would imagine from like learning coding, if that makes sense. I I don't want to throw any shade, but I think if you want to be happy about this game, my recommendation is don't don't get too attached to what Legacy expects for rewards. That's just not really his thing. Take care, Donnie. I guess I'll be hopping in without much reading. I mean, I'll skim the nodes to remind myself what they do, but yeah, I've Act 8 is an old friend at this point. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. It's a very fair question, Haza. But I think like the reason we do that at Kabam is so we can hire people for design um, more than for coding. Like, because if it was really about your ability to understand, you know, architectures and build a game from the ground up, and that was an important part of building characters, I wouldn't have been hired. I don't have those skills. I'm capable of learning them. Now that I'm in this industry, I probably will start picking up at least one programming language. Because I don't think that my high school Java counts anymore. But like I would not have been hired in the first place if that were a hard requirement, and I suspect that goes for at least one or two other of the character designers. Definitely the balance designers. And so I'm really happy that we have it set up this way because it allows us to focus more on like what we want the characters to do, and then we can work with people to do the hard coding. It's a luxury that comes from having an established game, right? Because I think the my earliest predecessors probably did have more hard coding knowledge for us to get to this point, but at this point, it's a really good system. When am I going to do a face reveal? I don't know. I'm not really committing to ever doing it, honestly. I'm not ruling it out, but it doesn't really appeal to me. Um, Especially lately, honestly, with how the community is. Thank you. Eh, unfortunate because now that's 2 hits that get reflected, but that's not a big deal. Whoa! Was that really that much damage? Guess we did crit, but good lord. That is the fanciest thing I have ever done with a striker. Take it the engineers are the people working on the issues. Some of them. Like, there are a number of different teams, but yes, you are kind of touching on exactly why when people ask me, why are the input issues getting ignored? Why don't we stop releasing characters and quests so that we can fix the input issues? I just kind of roll my eyes because it's just not everyone who works at Kabam can do all of the things. Take care, Dot. YouTube couldn't handle DLL's level of handsome. There are definitely other content creators who are better looking than me. At least in the classical sense. I have professor energy. Yeah, so there are distinctions in some effects illusion between attacks by champions and just attacks in general, attacks by strikers. And yeah, I guess I actually kind of figured it out earlier by mistake. But yes, Falter is an effect on Reed. It is not an effect on his striker. They're Hulk energy. I'm tall, not that big. Teach me the way of Black Cat. A lot of heavy countering. Strikers are unaffected by the champion's unstoppable. That makes sense, given that his is coded to look for basics. I don't know who I want to use here. How tall am I? 6'3". Good tip. Yeah, that definitely does need to be fixed. Hit stuns seem to be an issue. Masakre, an original character, is he from the comics? Yeah, he's from the comics. that was gorgeous. Well done, Felicia. It's funny, true potential. How do I feel about when Human Torch got buffed? I mean, his creator who buffed him admits it was a mistake. At the time, I didn't really realize it was a mistake either. Because people weren't really using him as the nuke that he was. There were far few champions with energy hits. I don't think it was seen how dangerous it was. We didn't have a one-off mode like Battlegrounds to make his pre-fight that much worse. Like, it was obviously a mistake, but it's one that makes sense in hindsight. Incursions for gold. Yeah, I am glad that that part of incursions got buffed. I'm glad it's getting easier again. I honestly wouldn't mind the golden incursions being buffed again. Ah, not today, Satan. Low-key more scared of his special tooth than most in the game. I've gotten hit by it so many times. If Kabam ever started nerfing older champions, apart from Herc and Kitty, which other characters would I look into? I've mentioned this before. I think Nimrod needs a few more weaknesses. He's too broad in taking on the mutant class. Like, his power level is fine. It's just how universal it is problematic. That's more of a design issue than a balancing issue. Um, Apocalypse, I think, probably needs to be a little bit less on off. Like, he just completely ignores most of the mechanics he targets, and I think that that's a bit too absolute. I wouldn't do much to either of them. I think they're close. They're just a little bit over the line. I don't know if I for sure fall on this, but I think there's an argument that Gallon should be Nullify immune and not Fate Seal immune. That would open up some more Mystic counters. It would be kind of interesting. I think Rintra probably needs some kind of nerf, like maybe to his base crit resist or something. He's just so annoying. It feels like he was made as an attacker, and then like, oh, he'll be a little bit annoying on defense. And just Battlegrounds was not taken into account at all, and how long it takes to kill the stupid cow just wasn't factored in. So that's something I might look at. Oh, I Can't believe I haven't gotten to this yet. Nick is a big one. Um, Nick needs a nerf. He's not a Poc, or he's not APOC or Nimrod where he's a little bit over the line. He is over the line. He's part of the reason people ignored so much of the skill class for so long because he has all of the utility everyone else has and better damage. And most of it comes from how high his base attack is and the fact that his bleeds are so short and so potent, so they scale so hard with deep wounds. I think if you just spread his same bleed damage out over a significantly longer time, so deep wounds boosted him less and then dropped his base attack a little bit, I think he'd probably be a lot more balanced. Doom is a big one. His base stats are just too high. I like his kit. Like Doom's control is so good that if you don't touch the base kit, he's never going to be bad. But I think that you could drop his crit resist and his armor since he's immune to armor breaks and his base attack, all three of them, and he would still be one of the best Mystic champions. Those are the big ones off the top of my head. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Quake. Duh. Quake needs a heavy nerf. Magic needs a bit of a nerf. Not a huge one, but when you factor in how well she works with Liquid Courage, her access to power lock is just a little bit too easy. She's close, though. Kingpin needs a little bit of a nerf. I think Overpower shouldn't stack. And honestly, I feel like his synergy with Hood or Joe probably shouldn't reach 100% against damaging debuffs. Non-damaging debuffs, sure, things are good for, but I don't think it makes sense that he's like a go-to hazard shift option. I think that's dumb. Hmm. I'm clicking through Aunt May real quick. Ghost is on the list. I don't think that. I think either her Fury that she gets from removing debuffs shouldn't stack, or it should be just like removed. I don't know. It's way too strong. The fact that it's 100% Fury and it stacks is stupid. Absolutely no reason for that. Um, I think that's my list. Do I still rate Nightcrawler as a solid Battlegrounds defender? Not in most metas. I'm sure he has value in some of them. Fun. Tigra? That's a good question. I don't think you need to mess with Tigra's damage. She's hard enough to play, and there are things that turn her off. But I don't have any issue with her speed. I think her neutralize is a bit too absolute. Maybe using like the new tech that we have, because we can kind of tell that we can tell the difference under the hood now between characters and like nodes. I think if Tiger came out today, it might be interesting if her neutralize a plot was 100% against champions, but then like didn't touch nodes or was only 30% against nodes or something along those lines. I think that might make her a little bit less oppressive because Tigra doesn't bother me as a designer that much, or as a character designer. She bothers the quest people quite a bit. Do I feel like there's some champs that should remain as strictly defenders, or should every champ have a decent level of offense? I do think that all characters should have some offense. Like I think if Korg was released today, we'd probably move we'd probably move some of the power in his synergies into the base kit, but make it a little bit harder to access so that there was something to do there. Because he's just so boring on offense. I think every character should be good enough on offense so that if you like the character and want to play them, you shouldn't feel like you're pulling teeth. They don't all have to be the same level of strong. And they don't all have to be good enough for Battlegrounds offense in terms of speed or anything like that. But I think they should all be fun and they should all like be able to do a thing, if that makes sense. Come on, buddy. Thank you. Dang it. That falter is so long. Whoop. Forgot about Counter-Strike. Cool. Night, JT. How's it going? Or take care, man. Clearly, I need to start thinking about bed too. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna call it. Oh, cool. It was worth fighting against them. I need to make some progress on the side quest at some point. Hey, B, how's it going? I have a couple of relics now, right? Yeah, 3. Please give me Iron Fist. Oh well. Who do I even put this on? Because I put that one on Spot. I already have one on Scorpion. Probably going to end up using this for a Striker, which makes me sad. I can't imagine trying to use a Striker with Quicksilver, so I don't think it's going to be that. Does it make sense with Jen? Probably Negs. Yeah, I was using Spidey quite a bit earlier, B, and throwing a lot of shade at people. I think I'm just gonna throw it on Jen for now. Honestly, she could use the block proficiency. I just don't get science anymore. That's fine. Cool. Block prof on Torch is nice. I use them occasionally. When I do, I don't need block prof. I don't know. Again, most of the most broken champions that I think need to be nerfed, I think need to be nerfed because I've used them so much. Like, Hercules is basically the only exception, and come on. Like, I was a Torch main in War for a long time. I was a Ghost main in War, like, I was a Magic main. I know this stuff. It's not jealousy talking. It's experience. I wonder what relic I'll rank next. It's gonna be a while until I get a 5-star, I guess. I'm at half, and then I don't even remember what Battlegrounds gives you. It's nice with Negs. I was thinking about Negs. I may end up moving it. But that's a low investment now because unbind costs are gone. Yay. Cool, we maxed out hero use. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and call the stream here, everyone. And I will catch y'all later. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, the Sentinel Striker does look pretty funny. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, later, everyone.